So MS-13 DNC's Joy Reid did not like President Trump's joke about annexing Canada, making it the 51st state. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about President Trump meeting with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau at Mar-a-Lago in Florida. Now, from what I'm able to see, from what I'm able to read, it was a good meeting. It was productive. It was diplomatic. Basically, I read it like this. I'm still the Canadian Prime Minister. You are going to be the president in January 25. How can we work together? How can we make our relationship better? How can we improve Canada? How can we improve the U.S.? That's kind of what I see the meeting as. Now, during the meeting, allegedly, a joke was made from Trump to Trudeau, and it was about tariffs and money and whatnot, basically saying, hey, look, if you can't handle things on your own, we'll just annex you and make you part of the U.S. That's the allegation. That's the joke. Now, of course, there's context. There's always context. Look, you may hear a thing like that or see a headline like that, and a lot of times the context is hidden. It's kind of buried, so you get to coming up with negative opinions about the headline in your mind. That's the whole design of it. That's the whole programming aspect of it. And then when you put people on television that kind of give you the wrong vibe, it furthers what you already thought, which was negative, which is where a Joy Reid comes in my humble opinion. Now, before I go any further, let's get to the first clip first. We're looking at Fox here. This is going to be a description of the allegation about the annex in Canada or whatever. I'll link to this clip and also the one with Joy Reid in the box. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
And tonight we're getting some new details about that Trump-Trudeau dinner from two people who were at the table. We are told that when Trudeau told President-elect Trump that new tariffs would kill the Canadian economy, Trump joked to him that if Canada can't survive without ripping off the U.S. to the tune of $100 billion a year, then maybe Canada should become the 51st state and Trudeau could become its governor. Brett.
We'll have more on that detail with the panel. Peter, thank you.
Hey, you know what? I'm not mad at it because it's like, all right, basically, if Canada is doing what Trump said, ripping us off $100 billion per year, it's like, all right, well, what are we doing? Are y'all just like a vassal state? Like, what's going on here? Are you a dependent? If you guys cannot survive without taking that much money from us, then we'll just annex you and you'll be able to live better that way. And you know what? Here's something funny. Canada's not that big population-wise. It's only like 25 million people. It's only like a few population centers in the country. Most of it is by the U.S. border, which is a different story. Anyway, let's go to Joy Reid here, and let's see what her opinion on this whole situation is.
We are seeing a global trend of the far right surging. It isn't just happening here. But let's bring you back to the U.S. and to our local gangster, Donald Trump. He's not even president yet, and he's already spending his time sitting in his golden palace, Mar-a-Lago, muscling other countries like he's Tony Soprano with a social media site.
Now, if he's doing the same thing he was doing in 2016 and 2020, it worked pretty well. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And before we continue, I know that Joy Reid and MS-13 DNC and all of them are glad that the Orange Man's back in town because now they got something to complain about a lot more. Since he's right there and you see him every day, that's their cash cow. When they're not speaking about Donald Trump, nobody watches.
Doing things like reportedly debating whether or not to invade Mexico, threatening BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa with 100% tariffs if they don't commit to trading in dollars and not their own currencies. Demanding Hamas release all hostages being held in Gaza before his inauguration, or there will be, quote, all hell to pay.
Now, before she continues, I just want to address that thing with the BRICS countries tariffs. Now, if you have countries that begin to trade in their own currency, that's going to really devalue the dollar a lot. So it's like, all right, if y'all going to do that, then let's do this. It's not necessarily about punishing them. It's more about protecting us, because that right there would be a thing that would help Americans, you see. So I don't really know where Joy Reid is coming from with highlighting that as a negative thing. And then, of course, the hostages. I mean, everybody wants people to be free. That's not really a big thing. And invading Mexico, I mean, what are we talking? We're talking about the cartels? Like, what's going on? Because understand this, the cartels, that's a whole different level. It's you can't just put regular police on that. So that's a real question. And the question should be answered, but I digress.
In the Middle East, even reportedly threatening Canada. According to Fox, when Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau went to Mar-a-Lago this weekend to try to talk Trump out of his 25% tariff threat, Trump apparently suggested that if Canada can't handle the tariffs that would violate the NAFTA upgrade Trump himself signed into law, the USMCA, they should just become the 51st state. Just become this 51st state instead and allow Trudeau to be reduced to governor of the state of Canada.
Why not? Why not? If it's like that, if you guys can't survive without ripping this off, like I said, if what Trump said is true, which I don't really doubt, but if y'all can't survive, then go ahead, just become part of us and we'll take care of you.
Which caused the prime minister and others to laugh nervously. And while some are writing that off as just a joke, just a few hours ago, Trump posted this obviously AI photo of him standing on a mountaintop next to the Canadian flag, looking off into the distance with the caption, "Oh, Canada."
Okay, so how was that threatening though? Is it an American flag superimposed onto the Canadian flag? Like, how was it threatening?
And for the record, he appears to be looking at the Matterhorn, which is on the border between Switzerland and Italy.
It's AI though. It's literally AI though. Like you just said, it was AI. So obviously it's not meant to be a realistic Canadian landscape. You know, I don't think that flag is real either. I don't think that Trump is real. I don't think any of this picture is real, which is why it's AI.
Not Canada. Oh, and let's not forget, this is the same Donald Trump who at one point seriously wanted to buy the nation of Greenland, even possibly trade it for Puerto Rico. I wonder what this.
Again, the context, why would he want to do that? What's the reason? If there's a reason, if there's rationale behind it, then we can hear that. And if it makes sense, then we support his idea at the time. And if it doesn't make sense, then you don't support it. But you got to have the context. When you put stuff up here like this and you just leave it up to the imagination, people's imaginations run wild.
Go. I wonder what this guy has against Puerto Rico. I'll just keep noodling on it. I'm sure I'll figure it out.
So now we're going to go back to the Tony Hinchcliffe thing at the rally where he made a joke about Puerto Rico that Trump did not make, that Trump did not say, that Trump had denounced. And it didn't even really matter because he still was able to increase in the Hispanic vote. But you guys still want to hang on that. That's fine. It's fun. It's fun. Listen, enjoy. It's going to be fun these next 4 years doing these videos. I promise it is. It's going to be fun.
Bottom line. This is how Trump operates on the world stage. He acts like he's everybody's boss, like he's the king of the world, which is bad news for basically everybody, unless your name is Vladimir Putin, the boss to Trump's underboss. The question now is, will any other leader stand up to him? And who? Who becomes the leader of the free world when Donald Trump ends Pax Americana as we know it? As Nicholas Grossman writes for The Bulwark, there is no undoing damage in history. It is up to those with power and influence to limit it now, and up to future generations to deal with it later. The post-Cold War international system has serious flaws, but at least there are clear enough rules that charges of hypocrisy mean something. Even rules more honored in the breach will be preferable to the lawlessness Trump's second term could invite.
I mean, the word salad right there is crazy. What are we talking about? Like, what is this? This is like frou-frou language. It doesn't really mean anything. It means nothing. No context. No, I don't know. I'm just not really a fan of that type of stuff. You know, speak more directly. Don't just use all these words that could be interpreted all kind of different ways. It's so silly. But as I close, I want to say this. I'm not even really mad at the joke. I mean, look, Canada, if you keep taking money from us, if any country is taking money from us, it's like, all right, now what are we doing? You guys need us that bad? Okay, just become part of us. We'll just take you and your resources, your power, your water. We'll take all of that. If you guys can't afford to be a nation on your own and you got to rely upon ripping everybody off and stealing and stuff like plundering, if it's like that, then you need to be taken over by somebody else that does not have to do all those things to maintain themselves. That's what I would say. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about Trump's joke about annexing Canada, making it 51st state, and allowing Trudeau to be the governor if they can't take care of themselves without ripping us off? You take them $100 billion a year, according to Trump. Now, if you can't survive without it, then like, what are we talking about here? What's really going on? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I mean, I think what Trump said was a valid point, made a lot of sense to me, and people like Reid and everybody else offended. I don't understand what you're offended by, really. I'm sorry. I know. You guys are offended at Trump just existing. So whatever he does, you're going to criticize. If Trump went out for a weekend and just rescued kittens, you have something to say about that. It doesn't really matter. That's a crazy example, but you understand exactly what I mean. When Trump does anything or says anything, or there's an allegation that he said something, they're going to be on it, white on rice, meaning the mainstream media, on it like white on rice. But then when it comes to Joe Biden and things that he does that we can actually prove with audio tape, videotape, all of that, oh, nah, you know, it's different. It's his son. It's his child. 54-year-old crack smoker with kids and grandkids. It's his child. That's how they do. We all, like I said, Reid, listen, these next 4 years are going to be great when it comes to taking your videos and breaking them apart. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that is all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.